My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that? Now, motivation. Motivation is damn important in life and in business. As a side note, when I'm not in the mood for anything, for doing a little bit extra work for example, I've come to realise that when not in the mood, don't bother. Don't bother keep going with anything, just have a relax, have a break, do something else. We have inside us what is called ego. What's technically called ego depletion. It's a process that over time throughout the day, we run out of ego. It depletes, I guess. Because in the morning we have the most amount of energy, where you have to do the most important stuff, most critical, most mentally intensive, or most business-wise or life-wise important stuff there and then. Not messing around. Second third of the day, much more lethargic, more automatic stuff, the miscellaneous things, the things that you can do without really thinking about it. The emails, for example, ironing, for example, the housework, chores. The things that don't require too much thought behind them. Or other work that doesn't require too much thought. The final third of the day is used for recreation. Because you've got the least amount of energy at the end of the day. So then you want to leverage and increase what's called in your brain, the dopamine receptors. The receptors that help you to crave more leisure, more free time, more success. Do these things that you enjoy, film, game, whatever, stuff like that, socialising, and beyond. Because the more of that you're experienced to at the end of the day, the more you crave it, so the more motivated you are, even by a little bit tomorrow, compounding, to do more work and become more productive. I have a general bias of how can I make tomorrow or the next hour or the afternoon or tomorrow morning or an hour from now, how can I make it, what can I do now to make it easier, more productive? Earlier on today, about 2 hours ago, I realised I forgot some stuff from the supermarket. I forgot to get some extra things. But then also I had to record some videos like this. And it's like, okay, let's record 1 or 2 videos, then go to the shop, get the rest of the stuff, come back here and finish off the videos. I did 3 videos, and then it's like, okay, should we do 2 more? I'm not really in the mood to do 2. Okay, that's it. Let's do 3, let's go out, come back, just done 1, now the last one. I'm much more motivated now, because we have also a thing we have called a palate fatigue. So, because I was fed up of doing 3, let's do something else, to recharge the ego, to change scenario, come back, and the final 2 can be done a lot easier. Palate fatigue is what happens when we are exposed to the same thing again and again and again, and we get tired of it, the repetition, the monotonous of it, and we want something else. This is what competitive eaters use a lot, this technique. So they'll have loads of, say, like hot dogs, for example. They're like 30 hot dogs. So they've got a lot of salt in them, a lot of meat and all that kind of stuff, and who knows what else they got inside of them. But then you have some ice cream with that. Some ice cream, suddenly you can eat so much more. It might not be that your stomach is full, it's just the body is like fed up of eating and processing the same thing. So if you mix it up with some ice cream, for example, something completely different, there's probably other things apart from ice cream to use, something completely different, and it's like, oh, a nice change of scenery, okay, let's get back into it. So if you feel like you're not in the mood to do something right now, don't do it. There's no point in forcing you to keep going, because the quality is going to go down and down and down. So change the scenery, do something else, and then go back to it. It's just like switching back and forth. When I was at university, there was an old saying that was, do it nice or do it twice. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it nice the first time rather than doing it twice. Meaning, I'm going to keep going and persisting, and it turns out to be crap. And then it means later on, I've got to go back and redo it, and that wastes time. Forget that. And also, there was an interesting little thought experiment I came across a few years ago, which was, there was an alphabet, and then the corresponding numbers underneath it. So A1, B2, C3, blah blah. And if you had to count them together, it takes ages. A1, B2, or 1A, 2B, so on and so forth. It's switching back and forth. Whereas if you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth, if you're counting them, you can count the numbers, or say the letters, separately, faster than if you did them both at the same time. So that indicates massive prerogative to focus on one thing at a time, because multitasking is a bit flawed. It's not so much that we can do two things at once, it's more a case of our brain and our awareness can go from one thing to another, like binary, switching between them really fast. And I think that switching between, that the energy required to switch, slows us down collectively, but also tires us out. And it's like, there's better things to do with our... if you just focus on one thing at a time, and finish it, then focus on something else, and finish it, it's much easier on yourself. Momentum-wise, energy-wise, everything else-wise. So that's one thing I try to do personally when it comes to focusing and productivity also, but also helps to keep motivated. And I also find that motivation, unless you really care for the thing you're doing or the thing you're working on, then you're going to really struggle with it. You know, this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. I can just talk about this stuff very easily, and just roll up, just like I read a few sentences to remind me what the topic is and what I wrote before. And okay, cool, let's get started. And just go. There's no script. It's very spontaneous. That's it. It's very spontaneous. It's just like I'll just keep talking, and the way I see it is like buffering constantly. So we're like rendering out, and then we're playing it, and then it's trying to keep ahead. So it's playing and trying to keep ahead. So motivation is all about knowing what you can and what you can't do, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and working within that. But also being happy and competent with what you're doing as well. Because if you're not happy, then you're not going to enjoy your time. You become stressed. If you're not competent, you're going to struggle. You're not going to see the results of the fruit of your labour. And attitude as well. Attitude is very important. Attitude, having the right awareness, the resourcefulness, the ability, the talent. The very important stuff. It's interesting how the mind and behaviour, behavioural economics and motivation and beyond, and all the other topics of psychology, a civil is an interesting topic. Civil disattention. All these things are interwoven, and it's like if you get one piece right, you can get another piece just as easily, and it gets easier and easier and easier. So motivation is just like a key for everything else you do. So it's all interlinked. But anyway, my question of the day to you is: how do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated? I've talked about some ways I stay motivated in the mornings. Focus on main things. If I don't care for something, I'll lose interest in it. I'll come back to it. Focus on these things. But how do you stay motivated? Comment below. But also remember that this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that?